if Nicolette wouldn't have hit me, I'd have been on that stage. I would have forgot all about that shit. Because I have no concept of time, but I should be bugging me out.
It's all good, man. We made it.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
That was good, family. We should be live right now, family.
Okay.
We should be live.
What's happening?
Give me a second. Let me make sure the family's in the chat room, filling in the chat room.
No more rolling weed, bum weed on my grinders. I have to have a guest grinder. That's y'all don't smoke from there. Somebody got some. This is a pile of bum weed mixed up with my good weed. I'm mad as hell.
You know who that is.
He leaves his ripple everywhere.
You know who that is.
Are we taping?
Yeah.
Yeah. We had it. Yeah, we good. All right, family. So we live right now. As you can see, I'm back with Dame Dash and the brother Billy Carson. How's this sound, family? Can you hear Brother Rich? Can you hear myself? Can you hear Rich? Can you hear Billy? How's it sound?
I get everything.
Yeah. I'm talking to people in the chat. I want the people. Sci-Fi, what's good? The moderator shot Sci-Fi. Shout out to Sci-Fi moderating the chat room. Okay, so everything's good. All right. So the family in the chat room said they could hear us good. We good to go. Let's start the show, family. Dame Dash, Billy Carson, welcome back to the platform. I understand y'all having. Wait, let me fix this. All right, I understand y'all having the Egyptian mystery joint going down December 6th, right?
December 7th and 8th in Burbank, California, right at Dame Dash Studios again, where we did it the last time. So right. Saturday and a Sunday, 6 hours each day.
Yeah, man, I heard it was extremely successful last time.
Yeah, it was great. You know, I walked into the school, which is really inside the studio, to get ready to start the presentation, and the amount of people that were there was like, it wasn't that I was shocked that they were there, but the diversity of the people was like, wow, okay, now I feel like we're making some serious progress. You know, because I'll be quite honest with you, I didn't think it was going to be that diverse of a crowd. Not because anything negative, it's just that, you know, we're really at the beginning stages of tapping into diverse people and getting them to realize to shed that religious aspect and look more into spirituality. So when I walked into the room and saw that diversity there, I was like really not only amazed, but also extremely happy as well. So I feel like the work is being accomplished little by little. I can see the progress from just knowing where I was 20 years ago till today. It's just amazing, man. It's amazing. And Dame did a phenomenal job hosting the event. And he really gave the people, you know, he helped give the people what, you know, more than what their money was for. I mean, by getting on stage and talking to people, taking pictures with people and being very accessible, it was like, wow, it was an amazing thing, man. So hats off to you, Dame. I really appreciate that. You made everybody feel at home, man.
Thank you. Well, you know, you took the keys and the wheels to the spaceship and, you know, you took a couple of laps around the universe real fast at light speed. And, you know, the agenda for me is, you know, I think that my demographic culturally has not been exposed or given the option to even know about the actual texts that, you know, are translated, that are real, and it's never presented to us. You have no options. And, you know, the things that are presented are logical. It's in text, but because of the patterns that we're programmed to believe in and what we're born into, that shit sounds crazy. But once you hear it and you realize that, damn, we damn near live in the matrix 100%, it makes sense not to know these things because it would empower us, let us know our self-worth, and have an understanding of our slavery mentality, you know. But my agenda is to make being conscious cool. You know, not knowing about these options should be uncool. To be able to speak intelligently about this subject matter should be more appealing and sexy than a pair of Louboutins and a Rolls Royce car. But having a Rolls Royce car and saying that should make you invincible. And, you know, Billy Carson, because I've come across other people that have the same idealism as it relates to the history and the text, but they not living any kind of aspirational life, you know? So it's almost like when somebody black learns how to play a white sport, they do it better. So he's almost like Eminem in rap. You know, he's the Elvis, the black guy that goes into a place where only white people are talking and puts it in a way where we all understand it and makes it in a way where it's like, I might want what he has. With the intelligence also comes the ability to have no self-worth and monetize without hurting, only by helping. So that's the game we playing. And learning doesn't have to be uncomfortable. It should be fun. It should be like going to a club and listening to music as long as you can focus. And with Billy having the wheels to a live band and a big screen and to have an audience captivated for 2 days, and they didn't want to leave. People was missing their planes, you know? Yeah. That means that will attract more people. It'll be contagious. They'll talk about it. And that's going to be the new cool, conscious. Logically conscious.
Yeah, man.
It's all logical. This ain't no mystical shit.
Right.
He translated it. Other people have translated it. What's bugging me out is, I look at Gaia and Ancient Aliens, and now I'm seeing them jacking his swag. Everything he's saying, they taking it. And they trying to make it like they made it up. Or not made it up, they translated it. And I don't see them giving them his props. And that's exactly how everything goes. So we're not letting that happen. We got a platform. We can teach as we want, the way we want, when we want, because we're not meant to be slaves, And I don't give a fuck what's in my DNA or how I've been genetically modified. I bit the apple and I'm conscious. And I'm not going to be fucking appreciative of some motherfucker saying I could work for them and be a slave for them and act happy that they gave me the opportunity. This is not the Garden of Eden anymore.
Good point. Point well taken. Yeah.
Definitely. I'll shout out to everybody who went to the mystery school with Dame and Billy Carson. I heard nothing but great things about it. Also, shout out before we start with the questions. Shout out to everybody who came out to New York to see Billy Carson. We had over 500 people in the building, Billy Carson. I mean, it was so crowded. I had to squeeze through the aisles just to make it and talk to you, brother. So it was like jam-packed.
I wasn't invited.
Yo, Dave, my fault, brother. My fault.
So I got warrants. Don't worry about it. But I'm coming back. I'm coming back to New York next week to settle that out. And I personally want to introduce him to all my friends and everyone that kind of is influenced by me. I think they need to talk to the source, And he's one of us, and that's what's dope about it. And he got mad bug shit that be going on with him personally. Like, he got some old extraterrestrial shit going on. Like, he can't feel Novocaine. Did y'all know that?
Nah, you know that. Nah.
He got to get his teeth put without Novocaine, and he do that shit, and he still eat candy. He's crazy.
Why is that? Why is that, Billy Carson? Why is that? I'm just curious. Why is that?
Well, no, I don't eat candy, but I have to do dental work without Novocaine because I'm immune to it. I'm one of the 1 in 100,000 people in the world that 1 in 100,000 people. Every 1 in 100,000, I should say, has this situation where they don't go under anesthesia. Well, you go under anesthesia, but you still are conscious. You can feel everything, and also Novocaine as well, and quite a few other things. My blood type is a very rare blood type. Only 7% of the people in the world have my blood type.
What's your blood type?
It's a RH negative.
Alien.
So
alien, huh?
They consider it alien blood. Maybe not in the term of a green alien, but it's extremely rare.
Okay.
So I have to actually have my own
colors. He can hear colors.
Yeah, he told me that. Yeah, he told me.
Synesthesia.
Synesthesia.
As well.
So he's some kind of antenna, Tesla receptor or some shit. Pause, but he knows too much. I don't know how he know that shit.
So
I don't get it.
Yeah, it's rare. I have to keep my blood at the local blood bank, so in case something happens to me, they can give me my own blood.
He has to give himself. He has to donate his own blood to himself because if he gets a problem, there's no one to get blood transfusion from.
Yeah, I'm done.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's a crazy situation. Fortunately for me, I hadn't had any major injuries. Needed any blood transfusions.
I caught him flying the other day. I caught him. Because he never leaves. I've never seen him leave through a door. He just evaporates. I don't know how he does that.
Yo.
And what was dope was we had live music.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I heard about the live music. Yo,
No,
Dame, listen, hold up, Dame. Billy told me, I was talking to him on the phone. He said, yo, in all my existence down here in this avatar body, I never experienced something like I experienced with Dame's live band. He said he played the song for them, and within 30 seconds, they knew how to play it live, the entire track.
Did he tell you he jumped on the stage and rapped?
Nah.
Oh, yeah,
Nah.
Oh.
But then what's up with, so you going into live music now? That's your whole thing?
I always did live music.
Okay.
I put the Black Keys on. You know, I went through a whole thing where I had, you know, a gallery in Tribeca, and I was doing all independent instrumentation. And I got a rock band called the Black Guns. And, you know, that's my band. That's our band. We're a band, but we could play anybody's shit. So, you know, Billy was like, first of all, he was like, he bought a whole label. He has a label. I didn't know, right? So he has a label, and everyone's good, and it's about consciousness. The vibration is right. But I was like, I can't disrespect it and have it performed over a track. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do that in here because that's not the right way. And, you know, you're not going to get that from Dame Dash. I wouldn't even let them do that to themselves. You know, it's a very snotty crowd in here. So we were able to just, you know, because they came in the day of and they learned it on the spot in front of the audience. The process was very fast. And the result was, again, it's like fuel to a extra turbo. It's like, you know, upgrading the engine. And you know, the vibe was right. The music was right. So it wasn't like, you know, it was like, oh, even though people wouldn't have moved, but, you know, he fed them well, very well. You know, everyone got good food. So while you're getting your food, you're getting your music, you're getting to kick it, you get to, you know, really understand the vibe, and you really get to enjoy the trip on the spaceship, period. Because it's really like a spaceship. Because when you come out of there, you're a bigger person because you know more. And you also, a lot of things that you have been feeling are validated, you know, by what he says. Because you're like, I think I was feeling that, but I didn't know how to articulate it. He puts it in a way where it's like, oh, that's why I was feeling that, and I'm not crazy. You know what I'm saying? So you walk out knowing how to help others, help yourself, and you also have a more secure feeling about your thoughts.
Yo, you know, that's something, Dame or Billy, you can elaborate on this. That's something I learned throughout life, later on in life, that I had to learn to follow a feeling that I wasn't able to explain. Because, you know, sometimes you feel a certain way, and nigga be like, yo, what the fuck you talking about? Explain that shit. You can't explain it. So sometimes you'll go against that feeling just because you can't logically explain the shit. But I had to learn that if it's a feeling, even if I can't explain it, I got to run with that feeling. Any of y'all could elaborate on that.
Now it's as simple as this. You know, memory is in our DNA, and we're here to fucking absorb it. So obviously we're remembering things that we've already known that's been wiped from this present consciousness. So the feelings are like, it's not even.
Well, we lost him, I think.
Yeah, Dame got cut off. Billy, you hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'll text him real quick while we're talking. But yeah, I understand exactly what you're talking about. I hope my lighting is decent over here. It's kind of dark in here for some reason.
You good? You good on mine? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically, you know, what you're talking about is exactly what I hear a lot. People always talking about that they, you know, they get these feelings. Hold on one second. They get the feeling, and then they basically are trying to come to terms with the feeling, and they're trying to figure out like, is this feeling like real? Is this the way that I should be going? And I can't really exactly articulate exactly how I'm feeling, but I just know that there's a better way to be. And I would get those too when I was younger. And to be honest with you, when I was very young, I would ask a lot of questions, especially when it came to religious topics, because I was already reading the Bible at the age of 1. I was
at the age of 1.
Yeah, age of 1. I was so well versed in the Bible that my dad would take me to the bars that he used to hang out with to have me recite verses to, you know, the people at the bars. He would take me there. This is my son, and he would tell me to tell him the Lord's Prayer, and I would have to sit up there, and I'd be, you know, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He making me lie down in the green pastures. You know, that's the 23rd Psalm. He'd have me going through, you know, all this stuff, and I guess because I had that capability of that recall and understanding what I had been reading, I started saying, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. I was doing this from a very early age. You know, fortunately for me, I was already kind of pretty astute when I was young. So I was reading children's books at the age of 10 months, and I was reading full novels and biblical
Yeah,
text.
yeah, you hear this, right? Dave, you see Dave?
He said he remembered his own umbilical cord.
Yeah, no, I remember the first day I came home from the hospital, and I told my grandmother that she put me on her lap and gave me table food, and everybody fell back because they had never discussed it before, especially not even around me. And so it was a long, long time ago. But I told them, what happened the first day I came home. I was a 10-month baby, and I was 10 pounds 5 ounces, but I was a big kid. But so having that ability at an early age put me out there.
You got locked up?
Huh?
You ever talk about when you got locked up?
No.
You don't want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this is American.
He was locked up for he did a bid.
No, I did not know that. Dame, you telling everything, Dame.
I didn't do a bid, but yeah.
He was in there for a year. That's a bid.
That wasn't no year. 3 months. 3 months.
That's a year. If you innocent, 3 months is a fucking year. That's a bid.
Time. I went on a trip with a friend of mine to Georgia a long time ago. We were kids basically, and he had some marijuana in the back of his trunk. He had not even a lot. I mean, it was personal use. It was less than an ounce. It was in his speaker box. We get pulled over going into Georgia. I think we were in Lowndes County, Georgia was the name of that city or that town or whatever.
Let me know I'm staying out of there.
Small town. Anyway, so yeah, crazy, right? So they pull us over and everything else. He forgets he has it in there. It's so old that it's dry rotted, I guess, and they searched the car. They said, can you search the car? This is early 90s. I mean, he didn't know. He was like, oh yeah, whatever, go ahead. They found this dry rotted, blood in the back of the trunk. And they took us down to the local, the local police department, what do you call it? The local jailhouse, the county jail or whatever. And they kept us in there for 3 months waiting to go to trial. He had given the statement that this guy was just a friend of mine, a passenger in the car and everything else. They kept us in there that whole time, 2 meals a day.
It's Florida. It's baking hot.
Rats in the ice shredder. People were begging to get out of there just to go to prison, but it was a hell of an experience for me to be able to be around those people. I became like the leader in there, of course, dropping knowledge on people and getting people's minds right and everything else. And people, the hardest core criminals and stuff in there were like hating to see me leave, literally tearing up when I got out of there. Obviously, they had to let me go because I didn't do nothing wrong.
3 months?
3 months. 3 months.
That's a quarter.
That's what they do. It's a business. It's a business.
It almost feels like you just needed to experience every single thing for no reason, just so that you could relate to the rest of the world.
I already knew that. That's exactly what it was. I had been through that situation, which of course I was completely exonerated. I have no criminal record at all. Matter of fact, I just got my concealed weapons license. But I'm a Team USA basketball coach, so there's no record there. But being able to be around those people and experience them at that level and talk to them on the level that they were at and understand what they were going through, and then to be able to talk to them and take their mind to a whole nother level. Some of those people looked me up when they got out of prison down in Miami, and we linked up again, and they were like, I did this, I changed my life here, I changed my life there, all from just me helping them find a way to look inside and elevate their consciousness. So it was a great, people will look back at that experience in their life and be like, I can't believe this happened to me, and cry about it and whine about it. I'm thankful for it because it gave me another perspective of life that I probably would have never seen. And it gave me the ability to relate to people that have gone through that or been through that system on a level where I can directly talk to them and they understand I know exactly what's happened, how they felt about it. And also I can give them a step-by-step process on how to elevate themselves and not even have to worry about ever going back. But that was a great experience, man.
Do you see what our greatest teachers have to go through to teach?
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's just like, it's almost karmic. It's like you have to go through something. Even if you walk in a straight line, you still have to feel that diversity to see if you can face the challenge so people can learn from you. Right. It's all part of the game. Yep. But like the amount of pain this dude has to go through to breathe, like it's just normal for him. He be saying shit. I'll be like, this shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Something else where the pain don't kill him. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. Like, going to the dentist would be like going to hell for me. For real, literally. Like that's, I can't even think about. I hate going to the dentist with Novocaine. Like I literally walked into the office the other day of a dentist, and they were like, because they just did some work, and I was like, I'm not taking not even a Novocaine needle today. I'm just not mentally prepared for that. I couldn't even take the pain it took to numb me. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he can't get high or he doesn't get drunk. Like he just it's meant for this man to be focused, obviously. You know, it's like
amazing.
that shit is crazy. And it's, you know, it's not coincidence. It's like, why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
After I talk about him, I'll be like, where's the scrolls on you? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck is going on? Translate some shit on your life.
You know, I hear people saying you're old soul, Billy Carson. And what I want to ask y'all, as I sit here and talk to y'all, you know, I grew up watching Dame and Jay do what they do. And I'm watching Dame right now, and he got on a gold chain. One of the things in hip hop is everybody wear gold. Gold teeth, gold chains, gold earrings, gold watch, gold bracelet,
Diamond.
diamond. Okay, my brother. But gold diamonds everywhere.
It's like the Kings and the Anunnaki.
No, hold on. Don't say that. I'm about to get to that, Dame. Come on, bro. Damn. Is it in our DNA? Because some people might look at it as just nigga shit. Oh, they on some nigga shit. But is there something in our DNA, Billy, that says that's telling us this is who we are because we resonate with all that gold?
Let me tell you something that's weird. That's for some reason in my DNA.
Yeah.
One of my first tattoos. Oh, wrong one. Was an arm.
Mm-hmm.
He got that shit right there.
Right.
I did that shit as a teenager.
You didn't know what it meant.
I knew what it meant, you know, because I was interested. I was like, that was an alternative to a cross. Right. And the fact that the cross was phallic, you know, it looked like two dicks. He paused, you know what I'm saying? And this represents a woman and a man. I was like, this is more logical.
Right.
I wanted it to be known, like, I'm not for all that. And it's on me right here.
How old was you when you got that?
Like 19, 20.
Wow.
And then look, all these tattoos, pause. Like these shits right here, these are all Anunnaki tattoos. I got my dog heads on them instead, but I didn't know the motherfucking do all that shit. I don't know why I be doing that shit. It is in my DNA unconsciously.
In the DNA.
For some reason, I've been always attracted to the Indian religion. You know what I'm saying? And Krishna and all that.
Yeah.
So, like when I'm getting sleeves, I was getting sleeves with gods that were resonating with me or aliens, because that's when I'm finding out that they was. Yeah. They wasn't from here. Yeah. So I just feel like I must have been one of them Indian ones. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's in the DNA. So when you look at the gold, for example, when you look at
Anunnaki smoke weed.
Yeah.
They love sex.
Yeah. Let me tell them.
Orgies all day, bro. They put beer and weed down here.
That's true though. When you look at this guy's wired. When you look at the Numerology and the 7 habits of creation, they talk about by the time that they came to this planet Earth, and the reason why they came here was because they recognized that this planet had a lot of resources. One of the biggest resources that this planet had, of course, was gold. So no matter which story you look at from different civilizations, you discover that gold is like one of the most prominent things that are looked after or mined on this planet, okay, by these gods, these quote unquote gods, which are really to me just aliens. So they began to mine in this place called Adam's Calendar around 250,000 years ago with actual human beings. And they found a place called Adam's Calendar in Africa. And you can actually take a tour to this place where they got the oldest gold mines on the face of the planet. I'm going there next summer, actually. After I leave Egypt, I'm going to Adam's Calendar.
Going to beam over there?
Right. And so the thing about this place is, when you start to analyze it and realize that the people that were working these mines were Black people, and the house on the hill, which was in Lil's house, is still there. As far as the roof is not there. Your house is still there. That's why.
And Lil's crib is still there.
Still there, yeah.
Wow.
So it's like this place is so ancient, but here's where the gold comes in.
Crazy.
They were mining gold for technological purposes. They needed it for to create this gold powdered dust aurum that they would call monoatomic gold that they would ingest and eat it, okay? So they would eat this gold because the gold has a lot of health benefits to it, and it helps speed up the neuron. Yeah, eating gold. Neuron process in your brain, kills diseases in the body. It's an electrical substance, so it transmits electricity a lot better. Like I said, when I was at the event, your event up there, the 2020 Ascension, you can eat it, yeah. At 2020 Ascension Conference, I said you have 0.07 millivolts of electricity in every cell in your body. You have 35 trillion cells. So we got 2.65 trillion volts of electricity in our bodies. So gold interacts with that and helps the electrical connections function better, which helps kill a lot of diseases and everything else. But also now you imagine you're mining this gold, all right, for these people. You're doing it because you're worshiping them. You think they're gods anyway. Right. But meanwhile, they're giving you a specific amount of it and decorating you, allowing you to decorate yourself with it, because by doing that, you feel honored that you provided this gold to the gods. And so that becomes part of the actual tradition. Oh. The leaders of these camps, or if you want to call them that, of course, would get honored with the most amount of gold, and the most honored people, the closest to the gods, would get more of the gold. And then they would begin to make jewelry and decorations out of the gold. So over many millennia, the gold became a form of way of us recognizing these Anunnaki people. Some may call them our cousins or our progenitors, or whatever you want to call them, because we have our DNA and we have their DNA inside of us. Especially, you know, the people of the land of Kemetic, which is the land of the black, or the black land. That's where the majority of this gold mining really started, utilizing human beings. Right. So we were given this gold. The same thing happened in Mesoamerica. Why you see all the mines with all this gold, okay? You see all these people down there in South America with all this gold in ancient civilizations. It was all about, they had to help to mine, and which they didn't even feel like they were slaves. They thought they were honoring the gods by doing this labor. And in return, they were given all this gold for decoration and wearing and everything else. And because of that, they felt like they had a strong connection with the gods, which they did. Because I mean, right now, there's no Anunnaki gods openly just walking amongst us at this moment. So in our subconscious, in our psyche, we've got this thing about gold, and it's just something that's been burnt into us through so many thousands of years that it's just a part of our DNA right now, and it's automatic. It's like ancient memories inside the DNA that make us just kind of really, want gold, and that's what it's really all about.
Jeweled up all the time. They had jewelry, all that.
Yeah, the ancient Egyptians, yeah. Gold.
They buried with their jewelry.
They buried with their gold, yeah.
Buried with the gold, yeah. There's a reason why they buried with the gold, which I'm going to talk about at the next mystery school. I'm not going to just expose it all the way out, but there's a mystery, and there's also a very deep secret that a lot of people don't know about, dealing with the sarcophagus and the mummies and what mummification truly was really all about.
Woo, I can't wait.
I'm going to bring that information.
Every time I talk to him, he got another chapter in here that I just don't ever heard. You know what I mean?
Billy, what's the contact information for if they want to get to mystery school in LA?
They can go to forbiddenknowledge.com with the number 4BIDDEN, Forbidden Knowledge, KNOWLEDGE, forbiddenknowledge.com. Register for the mystery school there. There's a link at the top. It's December 7th and 8th. It'll be 6 hours each day. You have me on stage for 12 hours of intensive teaching. At the last mystery school, people had 25 and 30 pages of notes.
Wow.
It was incredible. Yeah. People didn't even want to get out of their seat. They were literally leaning forward and just wanting more and more. It was really incredible. It was really incredible to see people not wanting to get up and leave and getting bored or getting tired or sleepy. Like Dame said, people was missing their flights. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, on the second day, just hanging there because they didn't even want to leave the place. They felt like, some people were saying things like they felt like they were, the next day was like a healing day, a spiritual healing day. I led the entire group into a deep meditation right before we started the class, and it was amazing.
Can I say one more thing that he's not going to tell you? He literally did not sleep for 3 days.
That's true.
No, he told me that, yeah.
I know Rich.
Literally did not sleep for 3 days, and that's crazy. Yeah. I would have been delirious.
But I stood up for 12 hours and didn't sleep for 3 days.
Have you been acting funny since you hit 1 million on Forbidden Knowledge? You've been acting sort of Hollywood. I don't know.
Yeah.
You got the $1 look, the million.
Well, actually,
congratulations.
My eyes are tired right now, man.
I don't want to fuck with you, but you have 1 million followers, and I don't understand why you're not certified.
You know, who knows, man? You know, I submitted the verification request on the app 3 times in the last 2 months. I submitted it total all over altogether like 15 times, way before I
That
was
don't
had.
make no sense because it's the kids with 6,000 followers certified. You know,
I
Certified,
know.
being
yeah.
legit followers, forbidden
I
followers, ones
I
that
have
you know.
no idea. I got 1 million organic, real. Every time that Instagram comes up to say that they're going to clean house and delete all these ghost followers and fake followers, everybody starts going, "Oh boy, everybody's going to lose it. There's big accounts going to lose all their people." I never lose anybody.
I'm with
Coach, my
you.
Billy Carson official account never loses, and Forbidden Knowledge never loses anything.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
A quick question. A lot of people sometimes they feel as though the ancient knowledge doesn't apply to modern times. So when you talk about the ancient Egyptian system, they're like, nigga, we're facing something totally new, white supremacy, Donald Trump, this, that, police brutality. How the hell is what King Tut was going through going to help me in 2020? So talk to those type of people real quick, Billy Carson.
Well, you know, here's the secret about everything. The past is prologue. In other words, if you don't know the ancient past, you can't plan for the future because everything that's happening in 2019 AD is the same exact stuff that was happening in 2019 BC. This is what people don't realize. If you really study history, look at the corresponding years for BC and AD, and you're going to go, holy crap, this was going on, this is going on now. That was going on, this is going on. It's almost identical. For some reason, there's some type of a time warp or time loop, I should say, that we're kind of trapped in. But there is nothing written that says we got to stay in this loop. We can break this cycle, but we got to get the knowledge and we got to retain it and we got to be able to teach the people. When I look back at ancient information and figure out how some of the greatest minds thought and how they elevated themselves to another level consciously, that can be applied to every aspect of your life, even in 2019. So if you're a person that's dealing with a situation like police brutality and these other types of situations, all that was already going on back in the Roman era. No matter how far back you go, you're going to have police brutality. That was something that's been consistent since recorded time. How do you deal with these things? How do you elevate?
What people have to understand, the masses are meant to be controlled so they can do the physical work. So the same tricks that keep us distracted, the same politics, and I think the awareness is coming as I look at history relatively fast. You know, like we're really moving quickly. The platforms are starting to be more receptive to these things. We're at the forefront of what the future is, which is going to soonly be our present. But every single thing that distracts us, everything bad is there on purpose, all strategic. And it's all to control a concentrated group of people so that they can continue to work and be appreciative of being in a certain class. And the only escape from that class is if you entertain them. And they make us fucking spend our whole life trying to play a sport, to be a professional, or trying to be an entertainer. And that slot is like lotto. And they have you doing it since you're a child, so you're not prepared for a B plan. So unless your brain is right, or unless you hit lotto, you're gonna stay in a working class. And that's a choice. And the key now is awareness. And he got the key. And now he can unlock all that slavery and all the bubblegum shit. You care about government when they're governing you. Government don't tell me what to do because I don't depend on them. I pay taxes to give it to the government, to give it to Israel. So instead of giving them taxes, I'm gonna put it back into me. I'm gonna put it back into the economy. You understand what I'm saying? They rather you get the money to somebody else for a job, let them pay the taxes because they get the tax regardless, they tax you. But they don't make you aware of that because then that means you're not physically working. You're making somebody else do it. You understand? So it's about breaking the social class and doing it with respect and integrity without selling out everybody. And that's the issue is everyone that breaks that social class has to sell out their whole culture to get there. So they give them a key to a house that's not theirs so that everybody else wants to live vicariously through them, but they never get in that door. And if they do, the same person that you think wants to let you in or that's living that life is the same one shutting that motherfucker on you. So self-awareness and being able to do things on your own is key, and that's what they don't teach us. So it don't matter what Donald Trump's doing. It don't matter what nobody's doing. Whatever president's in office, I'm still eating the same way regardless. And I'm still moving and shaking. And I'm going to still kick back because I got to legally when I have to. But if it's my choice, I'm putting it back into the business. Why I'm going to pay 30% just to look at it? But they ain't going to teach us that. Time's up, man. Everybody, time's up for me. Y'all leaving? Oh, snap. That's what kind of Bible. Ah, man. I know, but I'm on.
Yeah, one of the things I tell everybody is that I'm my own president. I talked about this at the event, the 2020 Ascension event you held, Rich. I talked about this at the mystery school. I don't care who's in office. I don't care who's the president. I really don't care. Every 4 years, I learned early on not to fall for the politics. Every 4 years I put my own name on the ballot. I believe that local voting does work for your sheriff, for your mayor, for your whatever. Those kind of voting, I believe you do have an effect on that. People showing up to vote. But the president themselves, I don't believe there's nobody that can elect the president. I think they're chosen, they're selected, not elected. And I put my own name on the ballot, and putting my own name on the ballot every 4 years, and then I show it on my social media. So if you go down my social media, you'll see my name on the ballot every 4 years. The reason why is because I'm showing people, don't put your faith externally into other people. Put your faith in yourself. I am my own president, period. And that's why, and I don't care who's in office. I'm going to do what I want to do, how I want to do it, and when I want to do it, and nobody's going to stop me. And that's the mentality that we have to have out there. And when people start taking control and honor over their own life and not putting all their faith and hopes and wishes in another person that don't care about them, then everything will change, literally.
That's like a ritual you do with yourself.
That's right.
All right, that's what's up. I want to ask Dame. Dame, do you feel as though, you're exposed to Billy Carson at this point and all this ancient information. Do you feel as though, as a father, that there's a certain age you should limit knowledge to your children? And what I mean by that is that it may be too soon at the age of 10 to teach your child Billy Carson type of information, because they may misuse it, they may misunderstand it, or they just may not grasp it at all and reject it. So do you feel as though organized religion serves a purpose to a certain extent until they're able to understand what Billy Carson is talking about?
Here's a problem, right? In the space that a child has, they take our children legally, and then they fill their brain with a lot of things that can hinder them in the future. And the reason why things are strange to them is because they're hearing other things that contradict what we're telling or the truth. So I want the pattern to be the truth first and the bullshit second. So I don't want to have my child have to be addicted, hypnotized, and then me have to break the hypnotism.
Okay.
And feel weird to learn it to her. I want it to be normal, and she needs to have the option, because our children are being taught every day. They just getting taught the wrong shit. So if you're gonna do religion, I'm gonna say, all right, this is what they teach you. Number one, that's a Bible that's translated by a Roman. Let me tell you what Romans did. Don't trust them. And the same person that translated that motherfucking Bible translated the Satan book too. I need you to know that. And on another level, here's some shit they didn't put in the Bible. Or here's some shit they didn't put in there. And why? And how could it say, honor your slave master? Always honor your slave master? That makes no logical sense. And in these other books, the Garden of Eden says this here, but this book says the Garden of Eden was just a laboratory for people to be slaved and enslaved and think that they're in paradise. And there's gates around it, so it doesn't make logical sense, because there's something outside those gates. What's outside those gates? Ask, like my kid, I pay for the best 1% of education that you could pay for, right? And my daughter's like, I'm doing algebra. I said, I want you to ask your teacher, what the hell, if you don't want to be an engineer, you need to know about algebra for? I just need to know why they're not teaching you about farming. Ask your teacher that. And ask him why he drives a Honda and your father doesn't drive. He gets driven in a Mercedes. Never went to school. Ask him that. I want her to be disruptive. I want her to know we're doing this because we have to, but we're aware. We're the boss. You're not going to convince me that I need a bunch of debt, go to college, and abide by a law that was made by someone 100 years ago that had slaves. How the fuck could we listen to any education or any system that was made by someone that had a slave. That means all laws need to change over the last 100 years, period.
Yeah, I agree.
How can we live under the same rules as people that had slaves?
You can't.
That logical?
Nope.
Not at all. No.
But we do that though, right? Same laws, same education system. You know what I asked Billy Carson? I'd be like, yo, you've been in every pyramid. You've seen all these hieroglyphics. You've seen a hieroglyphic of a school?
None. Not one. None.
I don't hear nothing about that. Taking my kids away that young and them some mediocre person teaching me how to be mediocre and programming me all day.
Yeah, that's the problem. So one of the things that, you know, Dame is right on point. Like back in those days in ancient times, they didn't abduct your children and force them to go to a centralized location to indoctrinate them into anything.
Right.
You taught your kids right at the house, and that's how they learned. And then they would, you know, interact with the community by playing with the other children, but they were taught at home. And of course, if you were a wealthy person back then, of course you had tutors and everything else, but everybody was home taught, homeschooled, you know, back in the day. And the system that
You know where I learned how to sell drugs?
System.
You know where I learned how to sell drugs? School.
Yeah.
You know where I saw my first gun? School.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? My first fight? School.
Mm-hmm.
First time I was a bully? School.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely detrimental. You know, one of the things that I like what you were saying, Rich, was, you know, is it good to teach these kids from an early age? I think that I gave all of my kids an open option. I taught them my concepts and my side of the story and what I thought was right and what sources there are out there for them to look it up for themselves. And then I just dropped those seeds. And of course, I would intervene from time to time, but I would just let them watch them grow and develop. And I noticed them all kind of meandering on their own individual paths, but all coming back really now, you know, back to the round circle, coming right back down to the roots as they got older now and realizing, wow, you know, Pops was right. And my youngest son, Justin, who's more probably like, you know, like the main one that's going to be the next forbidden knowledge, in my opinion. He's 19. He's my youngest son. He's 19. My oldest son is 28, but Justin is he read all the Sumerian tablets on his own without even telling me he was doing it. Then he came back to me one day and he said, Dad, after reviewing the biblical information and then reviewing the Sumerian tablets, I've now made a complete decision that I'm no longer going to be a Christian. I'm going to be a spiritual man.
Wow.
And I'm going to seek spirituality because I believe that Sumerian tablets are far older than the Bible and they're talking about the true ancient history. And then since then, he's read all kinds of other texts as well. So he runs Anunnaki history for me. And he also runs Compendium of the Emerald Tablets account and plant-based. So, you know, he's a very, very smart kid, man. Like I said, I let them all go on their own path, but I gave them the seeds early on. And I just watched it swing right back to where, you know, they're all kind of falling into that same accord and that same consciousness and really more on the spiritual tip.
Think about what my conversation is in this moment with Kanye.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. The person that I need him to talk to is Billy, you know, because I want him to research before he does all that talking.
He talking to Candace Owens, man.
You know, I'm just saying I want him to talk to Billy so he knows the actual factual stuff or the options that are also available, so he can understand where the faith comes from. You know, the Bible's Bible is what we need to be talking about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Because then you get
I definitely love to have a conversation with him for sure, because I understand what he's trying to do, and I understand, but he doesn't have enough of the ancient history to realize the real way to guide the people into spirituality. What he's doing is phenomenal, but it's going to be short-lived just because this is still the slave system, unfortunately, without even realizing it.
With Kanye, a lot of things are short-lived because when he feels something different, he's a very artsy guy. So, you know, I think this is his mood in this moment. But again, I just like him to be as educated as possible before he starts talking to the masses.
Definitely.
Right.
That's all.
Definitely. But Billy, you know what I want to ask you? I want to ask you about Dane was talking earlier. We was just talking about things he was doing instinctively that were extremely spiritual that he wasn't even aware of.
Yeah.
And the last interview we talked about the rock sign. Now, and it was associated with conspiracy theory in the early 2000s, the whole Illuminati thing.
Yeah.
What we find out is that Dame said, yo, he showed his tattoos. He's like, yo, I think I'm ancient India. Or did you say that word, ancient India, Dame?
Yeah, India.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about mudras. Let's talk about mudras. So ancient mudra is this right here.
Right.
Which means power. Talk to me about how, because we see the brothers in the hood all the time throw up these gang signs, and I'm like, goddamn, how they able to do all this shit? Like they able to do all this sacred geometry with their hands, and I'm like, nigga, like, how you able to? You don't go to school, you don't do this, but you able to do all this. So talk to me about the mudras and sacred geometry and how we're just able to instantly tap into that. Like out of nowhere. We don't study it. It's just out of nowhere.
Like, boom, we're doing this swap.
Yeah.
Well, you know what happens is these mudras go back to ancient times, okay? And they're hand signs. I posted it actually on Forbidden Knowledge quite a few times. Like I think I posted like 36 of these hand signs and what the meaning is behind each one of them, okay? Probably the last time I posted was probably 3 months ago. But the thing about it is, it's something that was taught and handed down. Obviously, it's a type of learned system of communication. And these hand signs go back tens of thousands of years. And because DNA has memories, and we store everything in our memory, and we have epigenetic memories, which stay in a system for 15 generations at least, that we know of, at least 15 generations. So these guys who come up—
genetic memory stays in for 15 generations.
15 generations, yeah. So the people who just came out of slavery, we just came out of slavery, for example, real quick, not even 60 years ago, to be honest with you. And so it's gonna be a long time before that gets out of our DNA, slavery. The pain of it, the hurt of it, the remembrance of it, the suffering, it's all in our DNA.
Fast forward.
Yeah.
That's why we got networks.
That's what we got to rewrite mystery school helps you rewrite your DNA. That's what we teach there. But so basically,
DNA, give us some new memory.
Yeah, exactly. These mudras are encoded into our body. So when these young kids come up and they start tapping into these epigenetic memories and they start throwing up these hand signs, at some point somebody may realize, wow, this is some ancient stuff. They may have even looked at, because some of these gangsters are really highly intelligent people.
Yeah.
They just have chosen—
all of them are.
Yeah, exactly. They've just chosen that path. But the intelligence level is extremely high. And don't be surprised when you find out a lot of these guys research information, especially the leaders. The leaders always do research and dig into old stuff. And they find situations and systems that allow people to rise to power in the past, and then they duplicate that in the present. And then that allows them to rise to power in this current era. So then they teach these things to the youth, and then those youth then can continue to run on with it. But then it eventually takes its own individual separate meanings as people get very creative. We're very creative people. So then these mudras become very creative and mean a lot of different things. But it all stems back to ancient cultures, and it started off in ancient cultures, just made its way into the modern era as what we call gang signs, but they are really true mudras from ancient times. It's just something that's encoded in our DNA.
It's probably warrior signs, right?
They started off as warrior signs, empowerment signs, signs of respect, and unfortunately now it's turned into more the dark side signs. So not all. Some of it's about respect, but some of it's about
It meant 10 million.
They said that meant power. When I looked it up online, this sign up online, they said it meant power.
But people try to change it.
The mudra.
The meanings have all been changed to the.
That's why I did it, was because it meant the diamond to me.
Yeah. It's all been changed to modern, current era times, and unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that has been changed to had become kind of dark or materialistic, and it's unfortunately, it's the way that it's gone. This is why we're here, and that's why the mystery school's here, to rewrite DNA and help clean our DNA out and reprogram ourselves and get us back to a high level of civilization, consciously and also in reality.
Are you coming to the mystery school?
I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to be
Billy
able
went
to
out there.
Yeah. Hey, it's only right? It's only right.
Well, if you come out here, because also the next day, Billy didn't tell you we shot 2 episodes of Forbidden Knowledge.
No,
You
no.
know, a lot of what we want to do with the platform is Billy is kind of grooming the next generation, and he's obviously spending a lot of time with you. So it's not like it's going to be all about Billy and it's going to be all about me. It's about other people and talking to people and their platforms, but evolving, their hustle as well. So while you were out here, we could film some, we could do the same thing that we're doing.
Yeah.
Film a show in essence. You can film your show, but do it out here.
No, definitely.
You'll have Billy out here. You'll have me out here. What was really interesting to me was I got a call from ASAP Ferg the other day.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, I need to go to that mystery school.
ASAP Ferg?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
He's on tour, but I was like, well, I was telling him the date, and he's trying to figure out if he's around that date.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's very intriguing to the people that are popular in pop culture, but they don't have a platform or anyone to talk to about it. But a lot of people are really intrigued by the things that are not presented to us. And, he has all the shit that they're hiding,
No,
want to know about it. I think it's going to be really cool to start hearing. Because after we do the movie, now we're developing the comic book, the movie, the cartoon. And, it's going to be interesting to start hearing pop culture rapping about this because it's going to happen.
No, definitely.
And that's going to change because then also that vibration, also just, people actually saying things over and over again also will be DNA changing as well. Like now that I'm thinking about it, it almost seems like your level of consciousness in this lifetime really dictates your family's level of consciousness, and your whoever comes in your bloodline, you want to pass on strong DNA, not weak DNA. You want to have memories of strength, not slavery, and the normal to be a boss, not to be a worker.
Well, Dame, do you ever feel like the level you're at right now, like the Dame we remember from the 90s and the early 2000s and where you're at now, do you ever feel like it's too much for your children to absorb in the sense that Christianity is easy to absorb when you're a child. You just pray to Jesus and you call it a day. But now when you're taught that, you are the universe experience it itself, that may be a little more pressure on a person. So do you ever feel like
why do you think the truth puts pressure on somebody?
All right, let me explain this. So when you know the truth about who you are, you have to assume more responsibility. When you're a part of organized religion, anything go wrong, you could just throw it on Jesus, you throw it on God,
but external force. You think you're throwing it on Jesus, but you still get the karmic repercussion. These people are unhappy.
Dude, but psychologically, since you think you're throwing on an external person, it makes it easy to live your everyday life.
It's not easy to live your everyday life because now you got to deal with the karma. Now you got hit by a train.
Karma comes unexpectedly. You don't know when the train's going to hit you. You don't know when you're going to get a shot. It just happens that way.
The point is, being uncomfortable in one moment makes it where you're way more comfortable in another. So that's what happens. That's your test. If you're going to break the pattern of what you're taught to learn the truth, so you don't have to learn life's lesson the hard way.
So do you teach?
Would you rather be physically uncomfortable or mentally uncomfortable?
Well, I'd rather be neither. But what I'm at, let me ask you this.
The point of life is a test, right?
Yeah.
And it's figuring out what those tests are. And really, the more pain, the more things that you learn, more things you survive, more things you can teach. The strongest are presented with the most complex things so that they can survive, fight, and other people that don't have it can draw strength from them. I want my children to be the deliverer of strength, not the receiver of someone else's.
So do you think, let me frame it this way for you, Dame. Do you think at 10 years old, would you teach a 10-year-old some of the knowledge Billy Carson is talking
At
about.
10 years old, I've been teaching my daughter all of it. Everything I learned, I teach her.
Woo! Yo, how's her response been?
She smiles and she laughs and she absorbs. She might not get it now, but it'll be in her DNA.
In her subconscious, right?
It's like with my kids. I also make them start hitting the bag when they're like 6. So
Right.
They never know how to fight.
Right.
I don't want to have to teach them how to fight and they have to learn how to not fight. I want them. It's like you got to understand, deprogramming somebody takes a lot. It's worse. To me, it makes no sense to have somebody learn something that I'm gonna teach them not to learn and not to reprogram. Get it going now. Why wait?
Right.
I want it to be different.
Let me jump in for a second. So it takes me to something that I talked about a lot in a lot of my lectures, and it really comes down to what happens, what Dame is talking about right now, what happens when a person gets older. So if you have somebody that's in a system, now imagine that the person is a seed and they're growing in this system and they're reaching towards the light for energy and power, but this light is coming from this systematic source. Now they're growing into a sapling and they're still getting the light from this systematic source. And by the time they become a full-grown tree, now they're deeply rooted in that information. So here we come along, blindsiding them and trying to then break them out of that system that's been giving them all this light all these years, so they thought it was light. And now they're rooted deeply in the earth and we can't move these trees. And when we try to bend the limb snaps. But when a sapling is young, the limbs are very flexible. You can bend a sapling's limb up, down, around. You can wrap the limb around the tree and let it go and it'll snap right back to its spot. So when a tree is young and a sapling, it's easy to mend and mold, but when it becomes an older tree, fully rooted, you can't, it's hard to break it. It's hard to change it because if you try to bend one of the branches, it's gonna snap right off.
All right,
it's like teaching a language. You know what I mean? Like you teach your kids Spanish early so they don't have to learn it.
Right.
It's just they always knew it.
Indeed. So that's the approach you're taking, Dave.
That's the approach I'm taking for sure.
Excellent. Because they in theta mode, right? Billy Carson, they in theta mode at that, what Dame is talking about, that age, they in theta mode, where they just absorbing it.
They're absorbing everything
you do as an adult.
Consciously and subconsciously, they're bringing everything in those age groups, and they're just taking it and they're literally downloading it and storing it. This is why, like Dane said, it's so easy to learn Spanish. I mean, how I learned Spanish was from watching Sesame Street, literally.
Yeah.
And I was able to retain enough of it where I can still have a decent conversation with somebody. So, that's the age group that you got to start programming the people the right way, the kids the right way, and empowering them and starting that rewriting of the DNA from that age. So by the time they get old enough to have their own kids, there's some more rewriting going on and more rewrite, which we covered heavily at 2020 Ascension Conference, how to rewrite DNA. And then I showed specific scientific diagrams of the actual process working. And I think people really connected with that because I found people here rewrite DNA, okay, well, what does that mean? Well, I showed them how DNA looks when it's being rewritten, how it's looking when it's being, the coding is being changed and edited and it's being replicated. And I think when people saw that, they were like, wow, because I think most people are visual learners. And that's what I bring to the mystery school as well, a lot of visual learning, because the mystery school is about 420 slides of information. So not only am I talking, but I'm showing you at the same time, and I'm bringing up real case studies, real scientific information, peer-reviewed science, and backing up spirituality.
Not fucking around at all.
What happened?
Not fucking around at all. You going in there, you learn.
Yeah, you're gonna learn. You got no choice. Yeah. And we take questions too. People ask a lot of questions too.
Once again, family, the mystery school is going down December 7th, you said, right?
December 7th and 8th, Burbank, California.
Can you play the 1.5 minutes on your thing so they can see what it looked like? Because we can show you.
You should have sent it to me before. I don't have it.
Yeah, we'll send it to you.
Yeah, I don't have it. You that's a commercial you have. That's what you talking about, Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's there's a minute.
Send it to me. I'll put it on my YouTube channel, brother. I definitely want people to come out. I'll put it on a YouTube channel and thousands of people will view it.
Okay, no problem.
Like Dame, like Billy came to New York, over 500 people came out. Like they anxious for this. Like we don't know that because of the way media is portraying us.
I do know that. I've been telling Billy that. Ask why you think the school started in the first place.
Yo, this is.
We got to control the narrative.
Like, yeah, we have to. We definitely have to. Billy,
also, it's all taped. It's all documented. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, no, this is history because I also believe in those intimate rooms that 95% of those people are going to move on and be great.
Right.
And that picture that we take, it's like, oh shit, that's the dude that invented that later on in life. And that's the dude that did, you know what I mean? And they were in this school. Right. We got documentation who's being taught.
Right.
You know, it's legendary shit. It's like having Jimi Hendrix and Tesla in the room when they're kids and Einstein. But these are the people that have influenced those kind of people that make them open their brain to be better. Like, my thing is for Billy to find someone better than Billy, because that means we going to Mars. Period. Because if you better than Billy, we on Mars.
Right.
Billy done show me like mansions on Mars and cars and shit and all type of shit. I'm like, this shit is crazy. And it's actual shit. Niggas is up there living for real.
Yeah.
Or they live for real, but they up there. There's definitely a big remnants of a war. There's a lot of leftover shit up there, bro.
Right.
And them should be big. They don't be like, little domes. Them should be like domes the size of cities that 1 million people could fit in, from what he be saying. Am I right?
Oh, that was on the moon. There's a dome structure there. You can see from the video of the LM lunar module returning back to the command module. I took that original video because that was before CGI, before editing, before Photoshop existed. I took the original video, the raw footage, and then I took it and I turned down the contrast on it, and I revealed one of the largest domes ever discovered on the moon. And that dome made international news.
And so, it sounds like the same dome that Neil Armstrong was flying over. Like, yo, I bet it sound like a bunch of people who never came out of there, some shit like that. Right?
Yeah, well, we got the black box tapes, and we also got the redacted black box printed statements that show that they were flying over some of these dome structures, and they were calling them conical craters, which means dome. And then Neil said, I bet the people down there, they never get out. This was caught on the actual mission black box, and it never got deleted. And it was pulled down from Freedom of Information Act, and we got a copy of it. So it's amazing. An amazing acknowledgement that there may be remnants of a civilization there, or maybe potentially even people up there. I mean, very, very strange statements to make on a mission like that. And but the statements were there nonetheless. For whatever reason, they were there, and they were just having a general conversation. But yeah, man, the whole event out there, man, was so phenomenal in New York, man. I really want to thank you for letting me come out there. That was the people were so receptive to the information. There were some elders in the front row. What was his name again? What was the gentleman's name again?
Baba Heru.
Baba Heru was there, and he was really resonating with the information because he was interacting with my with my lecture. He was like, I would say something, he was like backing it up from the front row. And I thought that was so cool, that he was doing that, man. And he was taking,
like a rock and roll concert.
Exactly.
He was taking so many notes, and I was like, this elder is sitting up here in my front row. This guy's famous, and he's like taking notes from me. I felt so honored, man. I really appreciated it, man. And I appreciate it.
We should set up, because now I'm going back to New York. We should set up some kind of the same thing we do at mystery school in New York.
That's what I told him. I just told him that we got to do it. We have to do it. It was mandatory.
Or do some shit like, a festival. There's music. There's Q&A for business.
Dame, you need to do a talk on entrepreneurship, my brother.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I mean. But also, his entrepreneurship game is crazy too.
Of course.
Business is monetizing all this.
Yeah.
I mean, he got a Rolls Royce, amongst other cars. Every car I got, he got. He's living like he's doing, like he got a hit record.
Right.
I've been doing like this for a long time. I've been fortunate in business. I've been an entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur. My most recent car is probably my 62nd car in my lifetime. And I just like cars and watches. I don't have gold teeth and tattoos and things like that. Nothing wrong, nothing against that. I just got my
big houses. You got big houses.
Cars and watches. Yeah, nice, nice place to live. But my thing
real nice place to live.
I just like them. So, but we definitely
got real wealth.
Well, listen, you gotta listen. I'm only in this avatar body for a short period of time, and one of our biggest things I talk about is Being woke does not mean being broke. And I want people to understand that. If you're
Facts.
quote unquote woke and you're doing all this, I'm into law of attraction, I believe in manifestation and spirituality, and you can't pay your light bill, you got a problem.
Something wrong.
You got something wrong. If you can't pay your light bill and you into all this manifestation and spirituality and ancient knowledge, but you can't muster up enough of a spell to cast a spell to be able to pay your light bill, then you got a problem. I think you need to dig a little bit deeper into what you're looking into, because you ain't really getting it yet. This is about manifesting abundance 24/7, 7 days a week. At all times, your needs are always met. Does it mean you're going to have $10 billion in the bank? No, but it means that you're not going to want or lack for anything. Anything that you need and want will literally manifest. And if you can't manifest your bare bones basic necessities in life for you and your family, then what are you doing? What are you doing? When people get angry because they may see me sitting in my Rolls Royce and I'm making a video post to put up on YouTube or Instagram, what are you getting mad at me for? Because there's an RR behind my head? You want me to put some tape over that so you can feel comfortable?
Feel comfortable, yeah.
If I was sitting in the Toyota Corolla, they wouldn't have said nothing. It's all about envy. Stop pocket watching. Stop watching people's pockets. Stop worrying about how I did what I got, how I earned what I got to. I've been running businesses since I was 12 years old. I started my first electronics company at the age of 12. I made more money than my parents at the age of 13, moved out at the age of 16, had 2 cars, my own place, still graduated and ran 2 businesses. The average person can't do that. So stop pocket watching. Stop sweating me. Stop worrying about how I got my money.
When you see a Rolls Royce and someone that's intelligent, it should be more inspiring than hating.
Right.
So
Right.
if they say, oh, I could get that, then your perspective and your narrative is wrong. You're just thinking like a slave, not a boss. And that's the problem. So you got to get the mentality and get your narrative right. You know, think like a boss. When I see somebody that got something, I'm like, show me how to get it. And that means I have the ability to get it.
Right.
I'm happy. To showcase aspirational living has always been the best way to teach.
That's right.
Because
best way.
Someone's teaching something and they have nothing that you want. Why would you listen to them?
Exactly.
I don't want to learn how to have nothing. I want to learn how to have everything I want. So, you know, again, like I said, if you're not practicing what you're preaching, then you shouldn't be paid to be preaching that shit at all.
Exactly.
Indeed, facts, man. Like I've learned so much from just watching Michael Jordan be the best he can be, because he didn't go out his way to teach, but just because he worked on his craft so much, I learned that that's what I'm supposed to do in my craft to be great. So yeah, just to be the best version of yourself is kind of one of the best ways to teach humanity and to serve humanity.
You gotta lead by example.
Yeah, you gotta lead by example, damn, exactly. You gotta lead by example. What I want to ask you real quick, Billy. We about to close up. We about to wrap it up. How many people? Let me see. We got about 1,100 people in the live stream right now. Got a lot of people in the live stream. Shout out to everybody in the live stream. We got a lot of people in the live stream. We got Billy Carson, Dame Dash. They got the mystery school going on in LA. December. Billy, tell them once again. Give them information.
Yeah, December 7th and 8th at Dame Dash Studios, right outside of LA in Burbank, and it's 6 hours a day. So it's 6 hours on Saturday, 6 hours on Sunday. Lunch is going to be provided, a nice gourmet lunch and some entertainment and a lot of questions and answers. I shake everybody's hand, talk to every single person, and answer a lot of questions and interact with everybody. So it's going to be a phenomenal, very intimate setting. And whoever comes out there, I guarantee you, you're going to leave out of there on another level, totally consciously and maybe even physically on another level. So it's not magic, it's real science, it's real education, but we're going to unlock some things in your brain and your consciousness. We're going to unlock some things in your DNA and help you and teach you to reprogram yourself using ancient wisdom and ancient knowledge and information that can be then passed on to future generations. Some of these ancient secrets and mysteries that have been bestowed on me, and now I'm bringing them to the general population because I've been told I could. And now it's time to release this information to the people and give them the opportunity to ascend to another level.
And remember, you can see Forbidden Knowledge TV show on Dame Dash Studios. You could order that, get the first week for free. And we have a 24-hour television network where the show is also playing as well. And you could actually see that at DTV 20. Hey, Nicolette, is DTV 24 hour? Yeah. Hours or hour? Hours with an S. DTV24hours.com. and you can watch 24 hours of programming, and Billy Carson's programming is definitely relevant and playing. So you could check that out. And so we have control, we have distribution. So there's nothing stopping the auditory version of this word, because you can also get the podcast of it on the podcast side, anywhere that you get podcasts under Dame Dash Studios, and you get to see it as it's happening on the visual side. So history will be documented, and we will control our image and the way it's presented, and it will go to the masses on our terms, and we will be alive to benefit.
That's right.
It's excellent. That's how it's supposed to be, my brother. Once again, I want to thank y'all for coming on the show, coming on the platform. I just want to ask you one last thing, real quick, Billy. Just from a scientific perspective, as a brother growing up watching Dame do what he do, watching Jay do what he do, Rockefeller, their whole movement, I seen them do things before it became popular, and they made things popular, and they was able to spot trends before it became trendy. I want to know
That was me.
Okay, all right. on a quantum realm, what the hell is Dame tapping into to make him see things before 95% of the population sees it? Because that's what we want to do. We want to be able to tap into something to say, oh, I did that. So what the hell did Dame do without knowing he did it that made him such an innovator?
I'll tell you right now, I know exactly what it was. I actually taught this in the first semester school.
Yes.
The first thing I want to say is that the human brain does not create consciousness. It downloads consciousness. Okay, so there's a consistent stream of consciousness being downloaded directly by the magnetite crystals in your brain directly into your body. So you're downloading a stream of information. Now, all information exists already in the universe. All information, everything you could think of or thought about or create is already out there. What happens is our body are literally obelisks, like the ones in Egypt.
Right.
We are magnetic obelisks. We attract and draw to us this data.
Like
antennas. Like antennas.
Okay.
See, if you're on the right frequency, you might be sitting around going, oh, I just had a great idea. No, not really. What you did was you just downloaded information from space-time directly into your brain. You got on the right frequency at the right time to grab that information and pull it into your body. The thing with people like Dame Dash, he's on multiple frequencies at all times. And so when information is floating, electromagnetic waves is information which are flowing in us and through us right now as we're sitting here talking. Millions of different waves of electromagnetic information are literally passing through our bodies while we're sitting here. The thing with a person like Dame, he's on multiple frequencies of these waves, and he's capturing them and decoding them in his body, and then they become the next thing that he sees is, quote unquote, the next thing to do, or the futuristic thing that's coming up. However, he's downloaded all this information directly into his body because why? He's operating on multiple frequencies. And some people have that capability just naturally. So when you look at, like I said at the 2020 Ascension Conference, when you look at people who are saying, well, I'm trying to manifest, I'm trying to operate in the law of attraction, and I'm not as good as this guy over here, but this guy's an evil guy, and he does this, he does that, he's eating, he's not eating right, he's not doing right. How come he's manifesting more to me? Well, like I said, when I coach basketball, you got 500,000 boys in high school. Out of 500,000 boys in high school playing basketball, 500,000, out of that, 120,000, 130,000 will get to college. Out of that, 30 might make it to the NBA. Now, you might be one of those 30 that make it to the NBA the same year Michael Jordan gets into the NBA, and you might even be on Michael Jordan's team. You went through that funnel process to get down to that minute point, that lottery, but you're sitting on the bench in a suit, not even dressing out, but Michael Jordan's playing every minute of every game. You guys both went through that same system. You are elite players, but this guy's just a little bit better than you, naturally. So it just comes down to sometimes people are more apt to receive and be able to download and decode information a little bit better than others. And Dame Dash is one of those people. That's how come he's more of a futuristic thinker. He's downloading information from the future because the past, the present, and the future exist all at the same time in the fourth dimension, in the Tesseract. And if you have the capability of accessing that frequency, you can download Googles of information. This is what happened with Nikola Tesla. This is what happened with Einstein. And there's also was a famous a guy who was intuitive, who was doing this in a more modern era. I forgot his name. Edgar Casey. Edgar Casey was also a downloader of information directly from the ether. That was in more modern times, even. So they have a whole museum about this guy. You know, so that's what the answer to the question is.
Dope. Man, well, with that being said, family, what's the website they could go to for further information once again? Because, you know, we got to drill into the people's mind.
I know. Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4. FORBIDDEN Knowledge. KNOWLEDGE. ForbiddenKnowledge.com. Register for the Mystery School. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. And you're going to definitely leave away on another level consciously. And you're going to learn some of the ancient mysteries that you've never heard about, never heard talked about before, not on my Instagram, not on YouTube. Some stuff that's deep and intuitive that you're just going to say, wow, I'm so happy I was here to get this information at this point in time.
Indeed. Dame, you want to leave the people with a message before we get out of here?
I mean, you know, the information is there. The jury is there, just on everyone to wear it. And if they don't, I'll put it on my neck and shine, you know?
Facts.
I think with information comes responsibility, but once you give it, it ain't really your responsibility no more, you know? And it's not a physical thing, it's a mental choice. So open your mind and don't be scared, because that's what, you know, is the dream killer, is the fear that they implement into us to control us. So don't be scared to learn, and don't be scared to apply, and don't let fear stop you from doing anything. As a matter of fact, don't be scared of anything, period.
Indeed, indeed. And I guess with that, family, this is Rich. We signing out. Billy Carson, Dame Dash. We're going to see you at the Mystery School in LA, family. Peace.
I'll see you there, bro.